Also, Film Brain and the Blockbuster Buster also complain this film more tells us Wolverine is an animal than showing it, that he's supposed to be a violent monster but we never see it, that we never see him cruelly kill people, and Film Brain says that unlike his brother he doesn't want to hurt civilians, and that they violate the crucial rule show don't tell, even though 1. Wolverine wasn't supposed to just be more violent before losing his memory but also happier and have an identity, 2. It is something he struggles with, he never goes too far. I mean, with all this complaining about Anakin Skywalker, I'm surprised at how little nuance people truly want, and 3. In the opening, he doesn't just make poses as the Blockbuster Buster says. No. I mean, he smashes a guy with his gun in the Civil War, shoots 2 people in the trenches in the First World War, stabs another guy, and then a number of more guys in a trench, and in World War II he breaks a guy's neck. Oh, and before all this he stabbed his father, and after the experiment he actually at first acts civilized, but when Stryker shoots those innocent people he leaves the guy to die in a helicopter explosion, and he tears the bar apart, he kills in revenge, and endangers people with his violence. He just doesn't hurt civilians, as he isn't ever truly evil. He doesn't go that far, but he is a violent, aggressive animal. He's violent and vengeful. He just isn't evil. That isn't necessary for a character to have a darker side, nor for that person to have a dark past. Or remember the guys he killed when he escaped. So anywho, 4. That rule is nonsense anyway, as many films have extensive backstories and time jumps that are praised, like Terminators 1 and 2, The Accidental Tourist, Back to the Future, etc. And again, the rule is arbitrary anyways, as films isn't a mainly visual medium, it is also a storytelling medium, and the substance comes first. By having characters talk about issues, you can analyze it on an intellectual level and really explain the feelings and philosophies on the matters. Even in the Dead Guy with the Glasses anniversary specials of the brilliant Doug Walker, who is generous enough to let me on his side, they talk a lot about the issues as well. Again, the balance is nicest to be able to see things in a visually exciting way, while also having it being analyzed intellectually. But again, this is luxury, it is a form of style, how the story is conveyed. It is less great if a film isn't visually underlined, yes, and great when there is a balance. The level of visual convenience is mostly of secondary importance. The most important thing is once again the core substance. Again, it is mostly a style element. The most important thing is that the plot just makes sense and the characters are deep and the themes smart. It is really just not that important. But as I said, they do really show it actually, so that isn't even the case in this film. And Captain Logan complains that we have seen this and the Sky Decide before, but we haven't seen them in such extremes. We now see 2 very extreme sides instead of seeing 2 nuanced sides. He's 2 extremes. He's really sadistic and violent and vengeful, but at the same time apart with his wife, really relaxed, sentimental, warm and happy and clear-minded, something he wasn't in the original film, still X-Men The Last Stand, where he had overcome his past and lost his memory. It's really made this character different and more conflicted and tragic in the film. It is really deep, you see his life balances 2 extremes. He really suffers from that, he's violent and vengeful and also develops sadism, but he's principalic and doesn't want to hurt the innocent, and is grateful and appreciates kindness and is also needing for love. That is why he leaves the army and also sad, and he is emotional, which causes his loving side to turn against him, and he's cautious and hot-headed, but he allows himself to be driven back into a world of cruelty he wants to get out of, and he doesn't want to live that life anymore, but he isn't calm enough to stay out. And he gets more angry and eventually alone, and he overcomes his vengefulness and cruelty and sadism, but not his loneliness, because the betrayal he suffered and the mental cruelty of the world around him still leaves him lonely, causing him to become aimless, so he overcomes his being overly hot-headed, but is left aimless and empty. And, yes, aimless and empty, like Captain Logan refused. That was funny. Laugh. No, he isn't cool. I am. The stuff about respect, I lied. Yeah, I'm cool. I mean, I made a comedic review of 7. My reviews are truly Catholic, so it might be inconsistent. And I didn't suck, do I? No, right? And you know, life is really cool. I mean, this film was still a big box office success, but it was a critical failure. That's awful. What is in this anyways? Oh, alcohol. So on to his character arc. We see he starts off playful and happy, but as he grows up in a world where his father gets killed, he becomes vengeful and brutally kills his own father in revenge, and under the influence of his brother, he becomes cruel and joins in the wars, and loves to fight in all of the wars, making him sadistic and violent. And at first, he defends his brother even when he wants to rape people, and joins a violent killing team. He doesn't indulge his brother in the raping, but he does still want to protect him from the consequences, because he becomes very loyal to his brother, and he becomes a very close-minded person. And he starts off being apathetic when he joins the mutant team, but he, unlike his brother, never completely loses his principles, and he refuses to go along with his Commander Stryker ordering them to kill civilians. And his brother, that supported him all along in the army and that he supported, he thought that he went way too far and became way too violent when he wanted to help kill civilians, and even enjoyed it, and felt as though he couldn't relate to his brother anymore, and his brother had become an awful person, and he felt as though it would be wrong to take part in it, and left, causing Victor to feel abandoned. And he let go of this past and found a wife, and he became very romantic and relaxed, enjoying a peaceful life with her. And he's then really sentimental, kissing his wife in front of his woodchopper friends, and warm and happy and relaxed, laughing at his wife and listening to her stories. And so he had a wife he loved and understood, and he refused to join in with Stryker when he uses the losing of his former teammates against him, and is even cautious not to do so. And, hold on. I know what you're thinking. Haven't you made this joke like a lot of times in the past? Aren't you totally drawing this out? Well, yes I am, but here's the thing. I'm actually semi-allergic to chocolate. I can eat a little bit of it, but not too much, and lately it has become worse. And the thing is, when I eat it in these videos, I can't eat anything aside from it, so... well, I want to fully enjoy it. And I know what else you're thinking. Isn't that being selfless? Yes, but you're also a selfless pig. You're just sitting behind your computer. You could be helping the world. You could be working for a good cause. You could be doing something about wars in Africa, about child slave labor. You could give money or make money for people who send money to kids whose parents have AIDS or who themselves have AIDS. You could do all of that. You could devote your time to God. But no, you're sitting behind your computer, and you're probably also looking at porn during this and masturbating at the same time, which I'm also. That's why you only see one of my hands on screen. Hold on a moment. But so, I think I have the right to enjoy my bonbons a little. And I know what else you're thinking. Isn't this going against continuity? You didn't have this earlier. Well, I'm sorry, but I put enough effort into this already. I take like a lot of different takes. I try to make my opinions. You know what? Screw you. Yeah, this. I've done it many times before, so I'll just do this. You see, now it's original. So, there you go. Go fuck yourself sideways or vertical. I've got nothing more to say. Go and enjoy my bonbons. You know, they became warm in the summer. That only makes them all the nicer. And nice and moist. I love that word. Moist. Oh, by the way, I know that this is kind of an obvious jump cut, but again, I put enough effort into this for you already. I work hard on the No, I'm not gonna even joke about this anymore. Let's just move on with this. I mean, I work very hard on this, but I'm sorry, I don't have $100 million budget. And even when movies do, and they have almost completely perfect continuity, you start to complain about CGI just looking a little bit too two-dimensional. How dare you criticize other people's works? I mean, trying to analyze things people worked on very hard and trying to judge them for what they did, it's just being an immoral prick. If you think that you can judge other people's self-expression, that's awful. That's not a job. That's not a living. Yeah. But then, when his wife is killed, it turns out his past catches on with him and he becomes violent and vengeful. And this time obsessed with fighting Victor, because his wife gets killed by Victor and he immediately wants to fight him and destroys the bar and fight with him. And he immediately lets go of all his sense of cautiousness and relaxedness and goes back into this violent life and gets into his instincts. And he then gets defeated by Victor and becomes even more vengeful. And he gets hurt very badly, and so he becomes hot-headed, and Stryker uses his heart against him to turn him into a monster and has him tricked into following his past violence, and he takes part in a horrible experiment and wants to suffer through great pain, more than any human has ever suffered, just to avenge his wife. And he constantly remembers her and is totally haunted by a memory. The film brain saying we just got to the procedure is ridiculous, that we wouldn't see any development in his character. I mean, we saw him want to go after his brother and get even more hot-headed when he gets defeated and calling himself Wolverine and getting a new dog tag, indicating that he got tempted by Stryker to go down a violent path. A great connection to X2. And because in X2, he throws the dog tag away at the end, symbolizing that he let go of this violent past and no longer allowed Stryker to manipulate him. And this is also very deep, that he has himself being called Wolverine, because it indicates that he feels as though he will forever be hunted by the loss of his wife, and it clearly indicates that it's that what made him sad, and that is what made him vengeful, and it shows that he wasn't just physically abused but mentally abused, and he became a violent monster, and the Wolverine because he was hurt in his heart, and he actually was a good person all along, and Stryker was always wrong in judging him the way he did. And he then gets greatly hurt by the experiment, but Stryker betrays him and tries to have him killed, but he manages to escape and hides in the barn of a couple of old folks, and at first is just scared and overwhelmed. Although he already did get somewhat sadistic when he escaped and enjoyed killing the people who attacked him, but at first he's mainly overwhelmed, and he then is helped by those old folks who are very supportive, and he becomes very grateful and a bit relaxed again, but he still is very sad and still considers revenge, and they advise him not to take revenge, and he almost considers it, but then Stryker kills the old people in an attempt to take down Wolverine, and they also taunt him about it, and then he becomes even more vengeful and hurt and ignores the advice they gave to him, because he now gets even more obsessed with taking down both Stryker and Victor, because Stryker once again tried to take him down but also killed these innocent people, and so his anger over the loss of these innocent people who advised him not to take revenge causes him to want to take revenge, because he doesn't really listen to what they said to him, and mainly because he doesn't think about it in a wise manner considering what they would want him to do, but he just gets overwhelmed by his anger. He now becomes even more angry and sad, and he becomes even more merciless and kills the helicopter assassin in a cruel way, and he then becomes very hateful and vengeful, because now he all the more wants to go after Victor and now also after Stryker, and he then becomes very pragmatic again, threatening his former friend as well as Gambit to get to Stryker and Victor, and now he wants revenge on Stryker also. And I know what you're thinking, it kind of sounded like you hadn't properly written that out and you're just making it up as you go along. Well, I'm still starting, and no, I can't even make a joke about it anymore to excuse, because I already drew that out. I drew out the jokes about making jokes about it. How can I have an excuse for being lazy? Well, I need to be consistent with the being lazy, because I'm building a character like Homer Simpson in The Simpsons, and they're always consistently lazy with his character, and due to that with the story points about him, so that's a consistent excuse for me also. So if you're now criticizing me for making a lot of flaws and how I perform everything, then you're just not getting the comedy. Yeah, you just don't get it. Yeah. I love this job. It's so easy when you think about it. You just have to realize that people are complete and utter morons and very easily manipulatable. Just look at all those American presidents of the Democrats that got elected. I love this job. I even get to make jokes about the Democrats on the side. This is just fantastic. You know what, I'm just going to indulge even more. I'm just not going to stop. I'm not even going to pay attention to the review anymore. I'm just going to enjoy bombs. Yeah, screw you. Yeah. And you're still going to be watching this, still going to think that this is a funny joke. You silly, pathetic sack of shit. And you're even going to find that funny, even though that was very rude and over the top. But if you complain about it, I can say that I had to read and I had no choice but to say it, or something along those lines. So, I just love it. Alright, let's move on. And so then Wolverine even becomes pragmatic, threatening one of his own friends in order to find out where Victor and Stryker are. You see, that is the influence of the left wing. They make you all pragmatic. Not even Wolverine is immune to that. And no, the threatening with torture to get that job done wasn't right-winged in this case, because he was threatening white guys. And all the left wing stands for is voting minorities. And to those saying there's more to you guys than that, I guess that it also stands for charity, giving money to the poor from another man's wallet. I love left-wing jokes. They are so bad. And I know what you're thinking. You're again making the same joke. You're again making the same joke about making the same joke about that. And this is becoming more and more lazy and tired as it goes along. Yes, but just consider what the alternative to this is. They are gonna make a RoboCop remake. So now the question is, do you want to see a remake of RoboCop or this? Yeah, that all of a sudden makes the choice very easy, doesn't it? That all of a sudden makes you appreciate me. Yeah, you should have thought of that earlier. Because now it's too late. Now you won't get to enjoy my show anymore. Because I will shut you down. I'm serious.